WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We got lots to do over the next couple of hours. Jacob Beck and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Should the Saints draft Jalen Milroe? We're going to talk about it. Glenn West will join us in 30 minutes to talk about Tigers and Colonels from down on the Bayou this evening. They crowned a national champion in college basketball tonight. We'll certainly discuss it. And it's DBU on the way back in Baton Rouge. We'll discuss that in hour number 2 as well. When we got a chance to welcome a multi-platinum country superstar to the show, we're generally going to take that chance. When we got a chance to bring Shreveport into the mix here, we're always going to do that. We can knock both of those out. 2 birds with 1 stone. Jordan Davis, as I mentioned, multi-platinum country star, good enough to give us a little bit of time here on this Tuesday. Jordan, great to catch up, man. How are you?
Dude, good to see you, Hunt. Not bad for a couple of Shreveport kids, man.
How about it? We're fired up that you're coming down here next month. I know you've got a lot going on these days, but it's going to be an awesome night inside Tiger Stadium. They reached out to you, wanted you to help out with Bayou Traditions Saturday night, Louisiana Saturday night. You were gracious enough to come down and make that happen. Tell us about the process and why it was important for you to come down.
Yeah, I mean, man, I miss Louisiana way too much, living in Nashville now. Got a chance to come down and do game day for the Alabama game, which is when we kind of started the conversations about it. But, man, I feel like I've always, the answer is always yes whenever it comes back to getting back to LSU and doing anything to help out the alma mater, man. It's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm glad I'm going to get to be a part of it.
It's cool to hear that. I do pre- and post-game with Brandon Taylor, and he says the exact same thing. Obviously, he was a great player at LSU and spent some time in the NFL, and he said, look, when LSU calls, I pick up and say yes. I mentioned Louisiana Saturday night coming up May 3rd. When you were a student at LSU and you were watching the Tigers play on the field inside Tiger Stadium, did you ever think you'd play the venue? Was that in your mind at that point?
No shot. I mean, it's like I never even really thought I would be doing this as long as I've been doing it. It really is like down there when we kind of locked it in and we announced it at halftime of that Alabama game. It was going out there and standing on the field and thinking that, before long we're going to be out there setting up playing music. I mean, I got to say, I don't know how I'm going to top, this show. I don't know if there's a venue out there that beats, playing on the 50-yard line at Tiger Stadium, being an LSU grad. So it's going to be a special night.
No question about it. You got a chance to play halftime in the Superdome for the Houdats. I know your black and gold blood runs through. What was that like for you as an experience?
Man, what a kickoff to tailed off. But man, that opening game against the Panthers, had to bring the family down. Opening weekend in the Dome, there is nothing like that. I mean, Saturday night in Death Valley is tough to beat, but man, that first Sunday in the Dome is a special one. And, being able to play on that field was special too. So I'm slowly checking off on my Louisiana bucket list. Now we got to start working on an Alex Bach show. And once we do that, I feel like I'll have the trifecta.
I feel like they can make that happen for you if you're willing. I know you work a lot on Saturday nights. LSU plays a lot in the fall on Saturdays. What's it like when the Tigers are in a big game and you're playing? Is somebody keeping you up on the scores? Like, how do you stay in touch, or you just check it after?
It's a major problem, Hunt. Like, dude, it is. It used to be great because as we were opening, kind of trying to build a fan base and get to the headliner spot. We were off stage by 7:30, so it was never a problem. And now that we're headlining, I've like, we have our in-ear monitors, uh, and we can get messages through them. So I've started telling my guys on the side, I'm like, hey man, keep me up to date. Anything that happens, relay a score to me. Uh, and then I was like, well, actually, if we're losing, don't do that because then it's going to ruin the show. Well, then I just started getting radio silence, which then got me thinking, like, dude, how are we struggling against South Carolina right? So it's like now I'm just like, hey man, just give me whatever it is, just tell me. If we score, let me know, give me the score, and I'll try to race off stage as fast as I can to go see it live.
That's a thing of beauty. I know a lot of the folks in the country music industry come from the SEC footprint. So who are you talking trash with the most in the country music world about SEC football?
So being in Nashville, it's really tough to have the Tennessee play as well as they've been with the Gets. Hardy is a big Mississippi State guy. So it's kind of all I kind of catch it from all angles, man. It's like, but I definitely got to say, I think right now I'm getting the most of it. Just being in Tennessee, it's the Vols. I think they're kind of handling this new kind of cool to them. Kind of gets under my skin.
Understood. The Vols, that's a big fan base up there. We got a little bit of a connection problem, Jordan, so I am going to let you go, but I appreciate so much of your time. It's Louisiana Saturday night coming up May 3rd inside Tiger Stadium to benefit Bayou Traditions. Jordan will be playing inside Tiger Stadium. You can get a signed helmet, an LSU football helmet of Jordan's, and you can catch him on the road coming up this fall. It'll be the Ain't Enough Road Tour featuring Mitchell Tenpenny and Vincent Mason. Jordan, it's been awesome catching up with you, man. I certainly appreciate it, and all the best, and congrats on all your success. It's been awesome to watch from afar. That's Jordan Davis.
Appreciate you, Hunt. Thank you for having me on, man.
You bet. That's Jordan Davis, a multi-platinum country singer-songwriter who's just, it's been awesome to watch Jordan, who's a guy that I've talked about on the show before. Grew up with him, played baseball with him in 7th grade, was at the same high school parties we watched Jordan play here in Baton Rouge a little bit when college was winding down, and he's just exploded on the scene, just become such a monstrous star, and it's awesome that he's going to do this coming up in May. I mentioned it there in the interview, but I wanted to reiterate, like, it's very cool to see people who have roots at LSU and have gone to such amazing heights, and still when LSU picks up the phone, they absolutely answer and want to come back and help. And Jordan is certainly in that number. He's proud Louisiana and proud LSU Tiger, proud Houdat. And if you've got an opportunity to get out to Tiger Stadium on May 3rd, you can go to LouisianaSports.net and book your table if you can do that the next 3 days, and then they'll be kind of booked up, and he'll be out there May 3rd to kind of help with Bayou Traditions. It's going to be an awesome deal. So really cool for Jordan to stop in, give us a little bit of time. He's got a sound check to get to, so we'll let him go. But again, Louisiana Saturday night, May 3rd. Benefiting Bayou Traditions. It'll be Jordan Davis on the mic inside Tiger Stadium. All right, we'll take a time out. When we come back, let's dive into the sports aspect of this show. We'll get into a lot of things over the next hour and a half, and we'll start with the New Orleans Saints. Should they draft Jalen Milroe? I've got my thoughts on that coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carbo and his team, just phenomenal people to work with on the insurance side. I've done that for 7 years in my past, as y'all know, and I know it's not always the most fun conversation to have, but it is important. And I've personally seen insurance help rescue businesses, help save businesses in a time of crisis. That's the most important aspect of insurance. I know it's easy to point to the premium, and that's what you see on the front end, but it's oftentimes the back end that is the most important. And you can promise when you're with the Highland Insurance Group that, hey, you're going to be covered on the back end. That's the promise that Jonathan Carver and his team will make to you. So let them audit your insurance policy currently. Let them take a look at it, make sure everything is in place. If it is, that's great. If it's not, let them be the ones to fix it, and you'll have a trusted advocate in your corner for life as far as your business is concerned. It's the Highland Insurance Group. You can find them online at highlandig.com, highlandig.com.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Appreciate Jordan Davis for stopping by. Appreciate you for making us part of your day here on this Tuesday. We'll talk some LSU football and baseball with Glenn West of Go 24/7 coming up here in 15 minutes. So the rumor mill is just all over the place right now with draft stuff, and the Saints are kind of in the middle of it. And we've talked a lot of quarterbacks over the last couple of weeks, a lot of quarterback talk. And you got the Jackson Dart buzz early, which is still kind of there. You got the Shedeur Sanders buzz that's really pushing out right now. But yesterday there was some buzz on the internet that the Saints had worked out Jalen Milroe and were showing some interest there. I don't see Jalen Milroe as even a potential selection at 9. Maybe you get back into the 40s, okay. Maybe you trade into the first round, okay. I'm not saying the Saints should or shouldn't at this part of the discussion. I'm just saying if we're talking about that as a possibility, like that's what it's going to look like. I don't think that's a possibility at 9. I know that teams jump at quarterbacks, but Milroe at 9 feels like a push. Now, they're talking about him going to Green Bay for the draft. That gives them information that he's probably a first-round pick. All that is speculation, but we know what Jalen Milroe is as a player. And if you want to start trying to connect dots, you can look at the success that Kellen Moore just had in winning the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, and you can go, okay, that's a really athletic quarterback. The Alabama ties, they have the same first name, Jalen Milroe and Jalen Hurts. Or are they similar players? Is that a skill set that Kellen Moore obviously had success with in Philadelphia, and maybe it could translate to New Orleans? That's the question that you raise, and I have an emphatic answer: no, it's not. Look at their performance in college. Jalen Milroe was the 2-year starter at Alabama. In his first year, he completed 66% of his throws. The second year, 64% of his throws. So you average that together, 65% completion rate. His first year as a starter, 23 touchdowns to 6 picks. His second year, 16 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. And yeah, he ran the ball well, 726 yards this past year. That's a lot of numbers, but let me bake that into the discussion when you start to bring Jalen Hurts in, okay? Jalen Hurts, in his final collegiate season, completed 70% of his throws, 32 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. 32-8 touchdown to interception. Milroe's last year as a starter, 16-11. That's half the touchdowns and 3 more interceptions. And oh, by the way, Jalen Hurts ran for 1,298 yards in his final season. Milroe ran for 726. Again, that's about half. So these two guys, in my opinion, are not even close in terms of their college production and performance. Not close. Now, I would not have thought much of Jalen Hurts entering the draft, quite frankly. I watched him in Tiger Stadium, didn't think he was great at throwing early in his career. Then you saw the 2019 team, and they went nuts in that game in the semifinal. And obviously I saw more of him than just those games, but I'm thinking that's probably not a guy that's going to be an NFL quarterback. He's not an elite pocket thrower, great athlete, great head on his shoulders, incredible leader, great story. Is he a great NFL quarterback? Probably not. That's how I would have assessed Jalen Hurts, and I'll put that right out there and not try to hide from that. But I think he was well further along than Jalen Milroe. Well further along. So, no, I'm out on this entire thing. The one piece to that puzzle that you could potentially look at and go, okay, what positive can we come up with? Jalen Milroe becomes probably the best athlete at quarterback in the NFL. You would put Anthony Richardson in that discussion. Kyler Murray's still there because he's still in his prime. That's a guy that's just an elite level athlete. Josh Allen is in that discussion, certainly. Trevor Lawrence is a good athlete. But Milroe's size, strength, and speed give him assets that trump everybody else in the entire NFL. But there's so far to go as a passer, I cannot get on board with it, even as a project. If you told me they took him in the 6th round, okay, I'd be great with it. But that's not realistic. Like, this is a guy who's going to be off the board in the first 55 picks. And I just do not believe the Saints are in a position to make that selection. I don't. You want to tell me the Cowboys took him to stash him behind Dak for 2 years? Maybe. The Saints have so many holes in their roster. To take a project that dire this early in the draft would be a massive mistake, in my estimation. I understand the parallels. I understand trying to make that work. I understand where that discussion would come from. And I want to be clear. I understand the temptation. I mean, you watched him in Tiger Stadium this year. You watched that guy run like a horse through LSU's defense. And I think you put him on an NFL field, he is still a dynamic runner. But he cannot sit back there and throw against NFL defenses because he cannot sit there and throw against SEC defenses. 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, that's just disqualifying. That is disqualifying in my estimation. And we sat there and watched him. Like, they won a lot of games when he was the quarterback there. They got to the playoff 2 years ago. He was after the 2023 season, he was the quarterback who had the most returning Heisman votes that was coming back to college football. but he was not any good last year. So I appreciate the Saints for kicking the tires on all these quarterbacks. I think their head is in the right place, trying to see what they can do at the position. I think it's reasonable to look at 9. I think it's reasonable to look in the second round, and I certainly think it's beneficial to look at their mid-round picks at a quarterback. I think with 9 picks in the draft, making one on a quarterback that's got some exciting skills is reasonable. But I don't believe Jalen Milroe is going to be there in the 4th round. I think to take him, you're going to have to take him in the 1st or 2nd round. And right now, the ultimate fear that you would have as a New Orleans Saints fan is that you do address a need at 9 and take someone, whether it's, a tight end, whether it's an interior defensive lineman, an edge rusher, Ashton Genty, like whatever, Tyler Warren, like you take that, and then on top of that, you trade 2 or 3 of your picks to move back in and take Jalen Milroe, and then mortgage assets to pick up a project. That's what you absolutely cannot have. So this is a reasonable discussion, but it's one that I am very, very strongly opposed to. If you were ranking my takes in terms of 10 is I will not compromise, I will not budge, this is a certain fact, and you take 0, it's I don't really care. I'm on Jackson Dart, I'm a 6. I don't really want to do it, but okay, I get it. On Shedeur Sanders, I'm a 7. I don't really want to do it, okay, but I'm not taking Jalen Milroe in the 1st or 2nd round, I'm a 10. That can't happen. And I've been plenty wrong times before, and I'll be plenty wrong times moving forward. But this is not an early round draft selection at a position that generally doesn't work out, and with a guy whose production at the college level just wasn't very good outside of a couple of games. Quincy Carter got himself drafted because of what he did against LSU, and it did not work at all. Actually cost me my Cowboys fanhood in the process. Probably due to age and losing all those really good players and not getting very good, and then I just kind of lost interest, and it never came back. That's an aside. But this guy played how many good games last year? 2? 2 good games last year? I'm going to need more than a first half against Georgia and 4 quarters in the rain against LSU. And you don't really have anything beyond that. Big athlete, strong, tantalizing. I get it all. No thank you on Jalen Milroe to the New Orleans Saints. Next. That's where I am on that. Beck, what do you think about taking a lottery ticket on Jalen Milroe?
Yeah, no, I
have a sense of where this is going.
I would be okay with drafting Jalen Milroe in the 5th or 6th round, maybe. That's okay. Not
he
the
really
first or
feels
second.
he feels like a 5th or 6th round pick to me, but his position just doesn't dictate that we allow that to happen.
Right,
you just have to leap.
The value, not the value, but the I guess the inherent value of a quarterback just seems to always be higher than any other position, and so you just have to overreach to get them usually. So, yeah, I would be pretty saddened to see the Saints if Saints draft Jalen Milroe in the first few rounds, but it's a lottery ticket no matter who it is. But I do think that with him, it's a very much a project and something that's going to take a lot of time, if at all possible, to really transform him into a NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of some teams. I mentioned Dallas that would make a little bit of sense as an insurance policy or a project. The Saints are in no position to be taking out life insurance policies when you're this much in debt, to use a human deal. It just doesn't play. So I could not be more opposed to this idea, and so we'll see. I listened earlier today to Nick Underhill on the show with the morning guys on Off the Bench, and they were talking about Shedeur Sanders, and he was kind of iffy on that and didn't really think it was going to happen. At the very least, and this is something I brought up yesterday, at the very least, this is interesting. I don't know if it's encouraging to Saints fans. I don't know if the result's going to be great. It is interesting, and we're kind of in the interesting business at this point. So we'll see what the Saints decide to do. We're inside a month to draft day now. As back into this month, the Saints will ultimately decide the next move for the the franchise as far as quarterback goes. I'm just hoping it is not Jalen Milroe. All right, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer. We got a lot to do here over the next hour and a half. At the end of this hour, I do want to talk a little bit about LSU and Nicholls tonight. At the beginning of the next hour, we do have to talk about national championship game from last night over in San Antonio. I want to talk LSU cornerbacks as they were back out on the practice field earlier today for spring practice. Got one more week of that before Saturday's open practice. Then Sharif Ishak at 2:30, and we'll talk with Sharif a little bit about everything that's going on with the New Orleans Saints. So stick with us. We'll be back with more. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Let's talk some Tigers. Glenn West, senior writer over at Go 24/7. Always good enough to give us some time on Tuesdays. Joins us now on the Jim's Farms hotline. Glenn, how we doing?
Doing well, Hunt. How about yourself?
Quite well. Let's talk baseball first. We'll get into some spring football at the end here. Tigers go to Norman and sweep. You got the cold weather. You got limited offense. You got a sweep. What was your takeaway, big picture from the 3 games in Norman?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to start with the pitching staff. I mean, for those 5 arms to really have the weekends that they did, I thought was extremely impressive. Even considering the weather conditions. I mean, Oklahoma had to play in them too. Yeah. So I just thought starting with Cade Anderson and him setting the tone. Of the 135 pitches that he threw, 91 of them being strikes. I just thought that was just an age of baseball, and you might not see another performance like it the rest of the college baseball season in terms of just an individual pitching performance. So I thought that was a really phenomenal effort from him. I thought what Chase Shores and Anthony Ianson were able to do, they each got into the 6th inning, or they went through 5 full innings, and they gave up some free passes, they gave up some base runners, but I thought what they really did extremely well was limiting damage and not allowing any of those innings to balloon on them like they have at times in the past for this season. So I thought that was a really encouraging thing. And then to have Zach Cowan and Kason Evans kind of slam the door shut on both of those Saturday-Sunday games, or I should say Friday-Saturday games, was just, I mean, more of the same. I just you get to a point here where you just, even in that 9th inning there when it got a little dicey for Cowan, I didn't have any confidence that he was going to blow that lead. I mean, he's just been so consistent, so reliable for LSU, and to have 2 guys like that are able to kind of slam the door shut on games just gives you so much confidence that this team is going to be really legit in terms of making a big time SEC push. And now you just need to find 2, maybe 3 more arms to kind of complement them before the postseason to really feel confident with what you have in the bullpen to make a deep run.
How'd you feel about Shores' outing on Saturday?
I thought it was solid. I mean, like I mentioned, I think he had the 4 free passes there, but I thought it was probably the best version that we've seen of him in SEC play to this point. I mean, like I mentioned, he didn't allow a ton of runs or anything like that to come off of the hits and the free passes that he did issue. But look, I think the biggest thing for him is just command of the ball, command of the fastball, and then being able to locate the secondary pitches for strikes. And it's been a little bit of a mixed bag, I think, for him most of the year, which I think is to be expected. This is still a very young player in terms of just how little college experience he has under his belt, despite being a 3rd-year player. So I think the fact that the thing that really stood out to me, though, was just the fact that he didn't allow any of those innings where they got guys on base to balloon into some big innings on them, in terms of scoring a big crooked number there, which has happened to him in the past here in SEC play. So a step forward, but you still want to see some more consistency from him going forward as well.
Let's talk a little bit about the arms out of the bullpen that you're looking for to potentially step up. I would imagine we'll see some of them tonight down there in Thibodaux, because you didn't see any of them over the weekend. You used your 5 key guys. So, I mean, who are you looking at? I kind of know the names. So who is it most reasonable to expect to take a step forward?
I would probably lean towards Jaden Newt. I think he's somebody that's given them some real consistent performances in the midweek games, and he only really has 1 weekend of SEC experience under his belt this year, but he looked pretty good in that inning or 2 that he got. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I can't remember which game it was in, but he's somebody that I think they didn't pitch him last week in the midweek game for a reason, because I think they felt like he was going to be a guy that could potentially serve them well in one of these 3 games this past weekend. But Cade Anderson goes out there and gets you 9 full innings, and so you don't really need the use of a big bullpen game there for LSU. But I really like what Jaden Newt's done recently. His fastball's been up to 95, 96. He's got a good breaking ball as well to go with it. I think he's somebody that I'm really keeping a close eye on for this weekend, and we'll see if he gets any work tonight. I think this is probably going to be another heavy freshman night where it's William Schmidt, Cooper Williams, Maverick Rizzi, just continue to get those guys confidence. Maybe you throw Connor Benj and a couple of those other bullpen guys that didn't get any work that you have relied on in SEC play. But I would imagine that Jaden Newt is a guy that LSU really wants to experiment a lot with over the next couple weeks of conference play.
As far as the right field DH situation, Pearson gets his opportunity, hits a couple home runs in the Friday game. Jake Brown's been really good and made a great defensive play over the weekend. Fry has been consistent all year in kind of a breakout spot. Do you have any reason to believe that it's not just going to be a kind of a platoon the rest of the way?
No, I mean, I think, you don't mess with what's already working. And I think LSU, for whether it's pitching matchups or just matchup base in general, they've done a really nice job of kind of finding time for all three of those players. And to their credit, all three of them are producing when they have those opportunities. So I think that has been a really interesting storyline to follow most of the year, to your point. But I would continue to ride with what's been working for him, and all three of those guys have had some really great moments for LSU and SEC play, and I would imagine that carries forward here going as we look ahead to the next several months of conference play and certainly into the postseason. I think probably the more important one to keep an eye on would still be third base for me, just because I think Tanner Reeves has done a really consistent job whenever he's had opportunities. And I think we even saw Tanner Reeves get a start against a left-handed pitcher this last weekend too, which I think just shows you how much confidence they have in him at that position. So you're not going to completely count out Michael Braswell or anything like that, but I think Reeves is showing this coaching staff and this team a little bit more consistently what they want from that position.
Glenn West, our guest. Go 24/7, all your football content, all your basketball content, baseball content, recruiting. They've got you covered over at Go 24/7. He's with us every single Tuesday. Let's transition over to football, Glenn. Tigers are back on the practice field, and they'll be out in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. Is there anything that we can expect to maybe look at on Saturday, or just another practice, and they'll get into the summer program?
I think it's a really good opportunity for the fan base to get a chance to see maybe what we've seen in terms of full practice and kind of what an actual practice looks like for LSU, because I do think it's probably going to mirror mostly what we've seen during a traditional practice for LSU. Maybe they throw a couple more 11-on-11 periods in there, maybe an extra special teams period, some more live tackling maybe than we've been able to see so far. But I would imagine it follows the same structure as what we've seen to a certain point, and that's just going to mean a lot of different players are going to get a lot of different opportunities to get a chance to make plays in front of the fan base. So I don't know that we're going to learn anything huge on Saturday. I think for example, today we got a chance to see Jacobian Guillory come back to practice for a little bit, and he was doing some non-contact work, and I'll be interested to see if there's anything extra he's able to do during that 2-hour practice on Saturday. But I think this is just a really good opportunity for fans mostly to get a chance to see what this group looks like in an actual practice setting instead of a game or a simulation of a scrimmage where you get a couple snaps and maybe some good plays here and there, but it's really kind of just not something that I don't think is beneficial in the long term for your team.
It's just weird that everybody's kind of bailed on the spring game concept, but we'll see. It's an opportunity. Hopefully the weather's good and folks can get inside Tiger Stadium and hear the band play and watch some of the players they've been reading about just a little bit. And lastly, in basketball, Glenn, LSU hard at work in the transfer portal, pulled in 5 transfer commitments, most from the mid-major level. How do you feel about the shelves being restocked by Matt McMahon and company?
Yeah, it's been a good job so far. I still want to see some more shooting on the perimeter. I'd love to see some more, length and defense on the perimeter as well, some more speed. I think they've done the 2 big needs that I think they had to address were the ones that they addressed first, which is a ball dominant point guard and Deion Thomas, who I think is really going to help kind of set your offense and be kind of that engine that runs things. And then adding some size with Michael Nwoko just was an absolute need. I mean, they needed to get bigger, stronger, a guy that can go in there and rebound. Maybe he plays more than the 15 or 16 minutes a game he was getting at Mississippi State, and you see kind of his averages in terms of points and rebounds reflect maybe a larger workload that he'll get at LSU next year. But I have some questions about just, the other guys that they brought in. I think they're all talented, and I think they'll be role players, but I feel like you need another really strong guard, another strong wing player that can shoot the ball, has some length, maybe some defensive versatility. I think McKinnon, the guy that they got from Portland, is going to be a really good sharpshooter for them, but there's probably going to be some questions defensively on how he handles the transition to the SEC. And Rashad King's a very interesting player as well, but I think he's got some length and some size to him to be able to score and contribute offensively, but he doesn't have the quickest first step, I've noticed, in terms of just watching some of his film. I think he's a little bit of a guard that's going to have to use his size to his advantage against other SEC players. We'll just see kind of how that looks. So a lot of guys that you're bringing in here that are from lower conferences, and we just got to see how their games transition to the SEC, because we've had players in here that have come from other conferences, and it's just been a little bit of a struggle in terms of knowing what you're going to get when those SEC games start and those big bullets start flying against some of the premier competition in the country that you're going to be facing next year.
Glenn, we appreciate some time. We'll see you out at the Tiger Stadium this Saturday.
All right. Thanks, Hunt. Appreciate it.
Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7. You can find all your LSU coverage over there at Go 24/7. All right, we got one more segment to go in hour number 1. Come back with us. We'll look at LSU's baseball matchup tonight with Nicholls. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, safety can be a big issue in the bathroom, especially as folks age in our lives. If there's somebody that wants to stay in their home but may encounter some hazardous situations in the bathroom, you can't completely take that risk away, but you can mitigate against it for sure. And David Duvall and his team help with that all the time. They can do non-slip floors. They can put a shower with a bench in. They can do walk-in tubs. They can do handrails around potentially hazardous areas. That's something that you hadn't necessarily thought about, but now that light bulb's going off and going, may need to look into that. Please do. Go to OneBathAndClosets.com. Contact David and his team. Have that free consultation and see what they can do for you. If you're thinking, maybe not a great time to pay for that, their financing options available up to 18 months, 0%, same as cash. So give them a call or check them out online at OneBathAndClosets.com. OneBathAndClosets.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So earlier today, probably about 10:45, I called my wife. My wife is a pediatric nurse practitioner in ear, nose, and throat. And I mentioned in the course of our 3-minute phone call, like, my ear's kind of bothering me. Can you look at it tonight? Like, that was the end of that part of the conversation. I'm scrolling through Facebook in the break, and in my Facebook comes up, a 34-year-old complains of right ear pain, fullness, and reduced hearing for 3 days. He also reports a low-grade fever and difficulty sleeping. I didn't Google anything. I didn't text anything. I simply spoke on the phone to my wife in the course of a call, and now Facebook is targeting me with ear pain.
Always watching, Hunt.
That's frightening.
Always watching.
It'd be one thing if I Googled it. All right, that's fair game. You got the IP address. You're clearly looking for something. Digital advertising, go. I just was on a private phone call by myself in my car, and we're now getting ear discomfort, targeted ads on Facebook.
It's troublesome.
That's something real special. All right, let's talk LSU and Nicholls tonight. Of course, this game was supposed to be played in Thibodaux in the second week of the season, but if you'll recall, it was freezing cold and it had rained previously. Nicholls said, we can't make this work, so they did not play that game. LSU actually had Nicholls come in to Baton Rouge on the following Monday, and then they rescheduled this date, which was supposed to be the date that Nicholls came to LSU, and instead now LSU will head to Thibodaux for this one tonight at 6:30. So these two teams did meet up back on it Monday night in the second week of the season. William Schmidt threw the ball well, 4 2/3 innings of solid work. He gave up 2 runs, only 1 was earned, struck out 3 and didn't walk anybody. Jared Jones hit a homer, Stephen Milam hit a homer. LSU hung 3 big-time crooked innings, ended up run ruling Nicholls in a 13-3 victory. So that was the first time around, and Nicholls is off to a pretty poor start. They're 12-20 overall. They're only 1-7 in midweek games to this point. The only win they have in the midweek came 2 weeks ago against a ranked Southern Miss team. They beat them 8-5 in Biloxi, but it hasn't been a very good go for Nicholls. They're one of the numbers that really jumps out at me, and I can't speak to just how offensive or not Nicholls Park is. They've only hit 9 home runs on the season. That's a shockingly low amount for really any college baseball team with metal bats and the way the ball generally flies right now. So just not a great Nicholls team this year. And LSU, conversely, is just rolling. I mean, you look at the midweek, they've won all 10 midweek games. 6 of them they've won by run rule to this point. And they're doing it because they're bludgeoning teams in the first inning. I went back and looked this up. When you look at the midweek games that LSU has played this year, and there are 10 of them, they've outscored their opponents 35-6 in the first inning. That's 3.5 runs per game in the first inning. Like, that is a lot of scoring early on. Of course, y'all know, like, they scored 9 on ULL in the first. They scored 7 on Xavier and North Dakota State in the first. They were up 4-0 against Louisiana Tech in the first. So when you show up and you've got Derek Curiel and Jared Jones and Daniel Dickinson starting things off against mid-major, midweek pitching, that, generally speaking, is going to be pretty beneficial to LSU, and it has been to this point. They've just feasted on midweek arms early in games, and that's why they've had such a promising record thus far. Look, over the course of 56 games one midweek game is not going to mean a ton as far as the RPI goes. I talked RPI a little bit yesterday, and where LSU sits, they're all the way up to 6 after being in the 60s to start SEC play. So the SEC, they're just 4 weeks of play is completely taken over the RPI situation after a really, really bad non-conference slate that LSU played. But tonight you get a road game, which a road loss doesn't hurt you as badly, and a road win actually helps you a little bit more. This, as of today, is a quad 3 game. Again, it's not going to be all that relevant when we get to Memorial Day, but you are in a beauty contest, and every little bit theoretically could help. So you look at this, and it's a chance to put a road victory on the ledger. LSU is not going to play a lot of these. It's the only true road game in the midweek slate. So get an opportunity to potentially put a cheap road win up there. You'll generally take that. Going to Auburn's not cheap. Going to College Station, despite their SEC record, not cheap. You get on to Thibodeau on a Tuesday, you got a pretty massive talent advantage. That could be a cheap road win for LSU, so I think that's something to keep in mind here as far as RPI goes. Pitching tonight for LSU, I would guess Jaden Newt gets the ball to start things. He was very, very good in a couple of midweek outings previous to last week, where he was working 3 to 4 innings and was getting LSU deep enough into the game where the bullpen could take over, and you had a 7, 8, 9 run lead in these games. So I thought he did a good job. I think he'll probably get the ball, but you didn't let any of the guys who you're trying to develop get out there over the weekend. You were just too dominant, and you only used your 5 arms that have basically been proven. So I expect to see William Schmidt. I expect to see Connor Ware. I expect to see Maverick Rizzi. I expect to see Connor Binge. These are the guys I would expect LSU to go to get work in this game, because they haven't pitched since last midweek. So I'm curious how that goes. You want to throw strikes. Maybe you get to a point where you put Jacob Myers in, a bit of a homecoming for him at Nicholls, but I don't think you're going to see Kason Evans or Zach Cowan. I know that the weekend was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so Kason Evans pitched on Friday. So that's a pretty good break. You had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 3 days full off after not a huge workload. So perhaps if it was 8-7 LSU in the ninth and Jay Johnson wanted to nail it down, I think you could go to Kason Evans, and you do have the now 2 days off after this game to go back to a traditional Friday schedule. I think if Jay Johnson had it his way, he would probably want to hold Kason Evans and certainly not going to throw Zach Cowan in this game. So that's an opportunity for some of these guys to potentially get some leverage innings, and you want to see those guys continue to progress. This is the final frontier for this LSU roster in terms of development. You've got right now a lineup that is complete. It is 1 through 9 every single game. You've got threats all the way through that lineup. It's really, really good. You've got an ace who has shown up and has won you games against Jared Spencer and Kyson Witherspoon. He's a dude. You've got a number 2 whose numbers are very, very good right now, and Chase Shores is taking some strides. You've got 2 guys out of the bullpen that you believe are excellent stoppers and can be elite-level pitchers for you. The last real frontier for this team is to find 3 more arms that you can really trust. I'm not asking them to be dominant. I'm asking them to be functional, to not walk guys, to get some strikeouts and eat some outs over the course of a weekend. You haven't quite gotten that yet. You're 10-2. You're in a great position right now, but those guys have got to take those steps, and those are the easiest steps to take are in the midweek. Tonight's an opportunity to get those guys some action. Would love to see William Schmidt for 2 innings. Would love to see Connor Ware for 2 innings. Love to see Maverick Rizzi get 3 outs. These are the guys that you hope to lean on down the road, and these are the steps they need to take kind of starting tonight. So we'll see LSU and Nicholls. You can listen to it on our sister station, the LSU flagship, Eagle 98.1. Pregame will crank up at 6 o'clock from down on the Bayou. You can also watch it on SEC Network Plus. It will be streaming tonight over there from Thibodeau. So that'll do it here for our number 1 on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I do want to remind y'all once again, because we started the show this way, we did have some connection problems with Jordan Davis, but he was good enough to give us a little bit of time. I really enjoyed Jordan talking about his Saturday night shows in the fall where LSU's playing, and he's got his team behind the scenes that are feeding him scores into his ears. He's trying to put on a country music show, but he'll be here on May 3rd for a Louisiana Saturday night inside Tiger Stadium. You can go to lsutaf.org/events to get tickets to get a table. It's benefiting Value Traditions, which LSU obviously is going to lean heavily on in terms of their collective and NIL, and Jordan's good enough to help with that. So if you want to see Jordan Davis on May the 3rd inside Tiger Stadium, get a table, grab a seat. Louisiana Saturday night, you can do it at LSUATAF.org/events, and we certainly appreciate Jordan for giving us some time there at the top of the show. Also, talked a little bit about the Saints. Should they draft Jalen Milroe? I have firm thoughts on that and gave those to you early in hour number 1. Glenn West from Go 24/7, good enough to give us a little bit of time as well. We talked all 3 LSU sports with Glenn: football, basketball, and baseball. So if you missed any of the first hour, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Of course, that's 1045ESPN.com's on-demand tab where all of our shows are archived. That's Off the Bench, Live at Lunch, Hunt Palmer Show, AFR. They are all there. Also, wherever you find your sound, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. We certainly appreciate that. And you can search Hunt on LSU for your LSU football, Hunt on Saints for all things black and gold. We got tons to do in hour number 2. I want to talk about college basketball's national final last night. I want to talk about LSU's cornerback development and whether or not DBU is on the way back, and Sharif Ishak talking Saints at the bottom of hour number 2 as well. We'll pause for Sports Center. We'll come back with the second hour. Hope your Tuesday is going well. Come back with us. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is that website. When you think Genesis, you should think luxury. When you think luxury vehicle, think Genesis. They're an airline at PQ. Hadn't been there that long. There's a good chance if you're listening to us here that you have not stopped by that dealership. I would strongly recommend that when the time comes that you're in the market for a vehicle, you stop on by Genesis of Baton Rouge. You're going to feel like a guest there, not a customer. You're not going to be swarmed with pressing salespeople, not going to be upsold constantly. You're going to get an honest conversation, very, very helpful group of people that are just there to make sure that you have a wonderful experience. And that experience, more often than not, is going to lead to you getting behind the wheel of a Genesis. From the entry level all the way up to the highest end, you're talking about elite safety features, IIHA top safety picks, some top safety picks plus. Start that process today at genesisofbatonrouge.com or get on by and see them airline in Piku. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the...
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A Denver dismissal in the NBA. The Nuggets have fired coach Michael Malone and will not extend GM Calvin Booth's contract. Malone, the winningest coach in franchise history, led the team to an NBA championship 2 seasons ago. Denver has been scuffling a bit lately, 4th in the Western Conference. ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania.
They've lost 4 games in a row. They're now in the bottom half in the league in defensive rating, and so they felt like the signs were there that this season was not going to end well. And if you're going to make this decision at the end of the season to let go of Michael Malone and Calvin Booth and do a full reset, they're getting out ahead of what they felt they were going to do come the offseason.
Lead assistant David Adelman is interim coach in Denver. Lakers LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves questionable against the Thunder tonight. Cavs guard Donovan Mitchell sprained ankle won't play tonight against the Bulls. Cleveland 1 win or 1 Boston loss away from clinching the 1 seed in the East. Florida State guard Tanaya Latson plans to transfer to South Carolina. She led all Division I women's players in scoring this season.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, is Aaron Rodgers finally going to announce where he's going, or is he going to continue to keep us in the dark? It's on Sportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Love it if you hang out with me later tonight, 8 o'clock, Pizza by Roan, sports trivia if you want to come on by. No LSU baseball game in town tonight, so if you're looking for something to do this evening, go on by Pizza by Roan's on Perkins. You can win gift cards, drink some cold beer, eat some delicious pizza, some wings. They got great sandwiches as well over there at Pizza by Roan's, and win some gift cards. So come hang out with us. Pizza by Roan's tonight at 8 o'clock for sports trivia. Last night, college basketball crowned a national champion. The Florida Gators beat the Houston Cougars 65-63. I thought it was a great game in terms of the competitiveness. I was stunned at the ineptitude on offense in the first half. Not necessarily because the defense was so great, which it was good, but the shooting was putrid.
Yeah, I think both teams combined for like 0 and 15 from 3 to start the game.
But not just that they were missing; they were clanging the ball off the backboard.
Yeah.
I tweeted about it. I was like, I never seen the ball smash off the backboard this many times. I get you're playing in a big, huge stadium. I get that it's different sight lines than you're used to, but usually you get that kind of effort maybe in the Final Four when you hadn't played in that kind of arena, and then you get the chance you're used to it. The second game, just brutal shooting early in the game, but Houston looked more comfortable than Florida. I want to say that Houston did a phenomenal job in just taking Walter Clayton out of the game. They just denied him the ball, made everything difficult for him, and he wasn't able to get going at all. I thought that was brilliant by Houston. And then I think this in the second half, that Houston's problem for 5 years now has been they haven't been good enough on offense. They've been good enough on defense. They haven't been good enough on offense. And you thought they had rectified that by becoming the second best three-point shooting team in college basketball. But when it came time to go win a championship and it came time to to play the most important minutes in Houston basketball history, they couldn't play offense. Their last 4 possessions, including 1 offensive rebound, turned into a failure to get a shot up. They got an offensive rebound with 1:22 to go, and Tugler turned the ball over. They got the ball back, and LJ Cryer turned the ball over. They fouled Elijah Martin, who hit 2 free throws, and they took the ball down the floor, and they turned the ball over, Emmanuel Sharp. And then they got one more chance at it, down 2, and Sharp turned it over again. 4 turnovers in the final minute and a half without a single shot attempt. And that's just a failure to execute on the offensive end. Florida's defense is great. I'm not taking anything away from Florida's defense. But even if you're playing a great defense, you can function as an offense and get a shot up. In Houston, to me, the first 3 times felt like they just put their head down and started dribbling. And that's not going to work. You've got to move the ball. You've got to use motion. You've got to set screens. They were just driving forward, and the ball got knocked off their knee. Like, it's just bad offense. And so Florida hits the free throw. You're down 2. You come back down the floor. You've had a timeout to set things up. And to me, as I look at Houston's final possession, they did a poor job of setting screens. They didn't set good enough screens on the right wing. It was a stagger. They were trying to come off of 2 screens. And then they pinned down to bring up towards the top Emmanuel Sharp, and they didn't pick Clayton off. And he's able to recover and contest to the point that Sharp couldn't get a shot off. You would like it if Emmanuel Sharp had the floor awareness to see Clayton coming, to pump fake him right by him, and then go around. Sorry, fighting off a sneeze really bad. That was bad.
That's tough.
It's just a hard spot to be in. I'm talking and I'm about to sneeze. Just I don't know how to handle that any better than I did there. Either way, like, it would be great if he could pump and then take 1 step over and release it, but that's explosive athlete coming to make a play on you, and it's crunch time. You feel like you got to get the shot up. But the execution was just bad. And Houston did a good enough job in this game defensively to win the game. They held Florida to 65 points. They held Walter Clayton to 3 of 10 shooting. He only scored 11. He was 1 of 7 from deep. But to Clayton's credit, 2 things. When he wasn't making shots early, he dished out assists. He finished with 7 assists in the game. And then when it came to championship time, he got 2 and 1s in the last 5 minutes of the game to continue to keep Florida right there within striking distance. And finally, as Houston's offense faltered, Florida made the plays offensively to get it done. And so, again, I appreciate good defense. I am one that thought the LSU-Alabama 2011 game in Tuscaloosa was a great football game. It was 9-6. Thought it was a great game. I can sit there and watch a pitcher's duel all day long. Don't need offense to be entertained. And I can absolutely appreciate great defensive work and a great defensive game. I don't have to have 88-86 to feel good about a college basketball game. I thought the defense was really good, and I can appreciate that. I also thought the shooting early in the game was terrible, and I thought Houston's inability late in the game to execute anything resembling the offense they've really been all year was more so inflicted because of their lack of execution and inability to rise up in the moment than Florida just being smothering. Florida's great on defense, one of the best defenses in college basketball, and they get some credit for this, but I'm giving more credit to the fact that Houston just couldn't get it done to get a shot up late. You miss shots, that's one thing. You're dribbling the ball off your knee because you're not looking up. It was bad. It was bad execution by Houston, and you feel so badly for Kelvin Sampson, who's been such an elite coach for such a long time and has built such an incredible program, not team, program at Houston. And to watch it drift away, I mean, that's an agonizing final 5 seconds there where the ball's just bouncing on the floor and you can't pick it up. Like, that is, you at least want to get one in the air. Just give me a chance. And they couldn't give him a chance because ball was just bouncing away, and there was nothing that Houston could do to figure it out. Do you have any differing takes from my thoughts on that one?
Well, it was just another game for Florida where they went down in the second half and they just came back and found a way to win. It was really impressive to watch. It was a really good game. I agree with you. I don't care that the score wasn't higher than it was. It was pretty, shocking. The first half was shocking in terms of the shooting from both teams. It was just really surprising that they both were so bad offensively in the first half. And other than that, though, it was a great game. I'm glad that it was a good game. You never know how these national championships are going to turn out. So it was exciting to watch. And Todd Golden, the beginning of the season, there was all the stuff swirling around him with the allegations and
nobody seemed to talk about that last night.
It never came. Not too surprising, but at the same time, he obviously has overcome that, and the team won a national championship. So congrats to them. But the SEC had probably the best season it's ever had in its basketball history.
Not just the SEC, best season for any conference ever in basketball to have. We had 7 Sweet 16, 2 in the Final Four, had the champion. That's about as good as you can do at that point. And so tough one for Houston to swallow. Florida, incredible work there. And we'll leave a college basketball season in the rearview mirror there as Florida wins at 65-63 to claim the school's third ever national title. All right, when we come back, is DBU coming back? We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Before we get into DBU and whatnot, we put a station survey up at LouisianaSports.net for your champions dinner if you win the Masters. They pulled the entire station. Everybody tossed theirs in the mix. Of course, to no one's surprise, mine is phenomenal and clearly the best.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone expected that, and obviously I delivered with a phenomenal effort. But there are some that are worth noting here. Rivers, I think this is Ricky Bobby's wife's meal plan here.
Yeah.
Rivers goes with the Blue Store shrimp fried rice, Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunch, Chick-fil-A kale crunch salad, waffle fries with Chick-fil-A sauce, Little Caesars hot and ready pepperoni pizza, Racing Cane's chicken fingers with cane sauce, Domino's lava cake with vanilla ice cream, a Wendy's frosty and french fries, and Superior margaritas. She had the whole thing catered.
Yeah. That was like
I've been slaving over this for hours.
That was like a couple of years ago when they had McDonald's at the White House. I think.
Donald Trump had all the fast food things
fast
laid
food,
out because I think this is what they like.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's very interesting. But yeah, Ribs goes all with a lot of
just all bought from somewhere,
fast
from a
food
restaurant.
items.
Yeah.
I thought that there were a couple of interesting ones. A lot of the station, including Paul O'Neill, Matt Moscona, Charles Hannegriff. Is that it?
I think that was it.
Yeah. So three have a crawfish boil as their champions dinner. I got to say, the champions dinner is tie and green jacket attire,
yeah.
which is a little bit prohibitive to doing a crawfish boil. I got, Ben Crenshaw over here peeling crawfish.
Yeah, not to mention you're going to have to teach like half of the group's going to be taught how to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
probably everybody.
I don't think Hideki Matsuyama's done a lot of crawfish
No,
boils in his day.
probably
And
not.
He's got the suit and tie. I'm going to have to handle that. So that's all big to do. T-Bob has for his drinks La Fin du Monde beer, which I don't know what that is. Port wine, I don't know what that is either. And then a finishing cigarette.
I like the finishing cigarette.
I'm not sure they're going to let you light up in the champions locker room.
Well, on the patio. He's got it on the patio. Yeah.
Okay.
You can get a lot of the heater on the patio.
That was more so, although who won? Was it Angel Cabrera, I think, won smoking cigs.
Oh, Angel Cabrera, not Miguel Angel Jimenez.
No.
I think he smoked cigars though, but maybe
he does.
Angel Cabrera probably smoking a cigarette.
And then my guy Taylor Sharp. I confronted him about this. He feels good about it,
horrible,
but he's got
horrible effort.
His appetizer's fried pickles. I don't like pickles, so I'm not doing that. His entree is a cheeseburger. His sides are macaroni and cheese and chili cheese fries. Then he's got dessert chocolate cake, and then for a drink, a nice American lager.
I mean, it's like he just took off, went to the Cheesecake Factory.
I'm just imagining these guys, these like distinguished men in their green jackets in Augusta National Golf Club eating chili cheese fries.
Yeah.
They
get a fork and a knife out and they're trying to cut it up, and it's not going to work.
Taylor said he thought everyone would be super bougie, and he was just going to make sure that he was going to try to be the exact opposite for everyone, which is interesting. What's yours? But you didn't answer the question.
No, I know. I forgot to send mine in, but I did actually just send it. Hopefully that maybe we can add it in.
Did you go for a Louisiana flair?
Yeah. I've got Louisiana across the board pretty much.
Okay.
But we can start with the appetizers, and I've got a crawfish and crab dip with bow tie pasta.
Okay.
So kind of like
fried bow tie, that's killer.
That's good stuff. And then we got fried frog legs. So I think that'll be interesting.
I've never had a fried frog leg. I assume I would try one.
It's good. It's like chicken. It's not much different, but I just thought it'd be funny because it's Louisiana and people are gonna be like, "What is this?"
This is like the water boy comes to Augusta.
Yeah, and then Sensation Salad, which is also actually Louisiana,
is that right?
Louisiana born. Sensation Salad originally from here. So that'll be a nice little something a little bit healthy at least to throw in there. And then for the entrees, I've got pan-seared speckled trout. I love speckled trout. It's one of my favorite fish.
Okay.
With capers on top of that, and then filet mignon with rosemary and garlic butter for those that don't want the fish. And then for sides, we got red beans and rice, fried okra, and then chicken and sausage gumbo. So a lot of options there.
Yes.
And then for dessert, bread pudding with rum sauce, a classic.
That is
Louisiana choice. And then for drink, we'll have a little Sazerac action, the cocktail.
That is, you did very, very much with your Louisiana roots.
Yes.
There. Not terrible. I've seen much worse. Mine, I went with seafood gumbo and boudin balls for appetizer.
Yep.
For the entree, ribeye and then trout almondine. I wouldn't even consider getting the fish. I'm going ribeye all day, but we got to go with fish option if you're going to go Louisiana. For the sides, crawfish mac and cheese. There's your little crawfish add-in. And then some cream spinach. I wanted to go with a really healthy vegetable there that's got a bunch of heavy cream and butter
spinach,
in it.
yeah, that's
so
good.
yeah, that's great. Then creme brulee for dessert, and then a little Johnny Walker Blue Label for the beverage.
Solid.
So, look, just an unbelievable effort.
It's
by
not.
me.
It's not perfect, but it's good.
I also got a chuckle out of the dessert that Jordan went with, which was slutty brownies, which I can't even believe that Rivers put in there. It's probably great.
Yeah, I'm
I just
assuming
never
it is,
seen
but-
the term. So yeah, I don't know if I don't think I'm not a member at Augusta, but I don't think they're going to allow you to put the term slutty brownies
I don't
on
know.
their
That,
their
it's not a very
menu.
distinguished word to use there.
They're not into things of that nature. So
Yeah.
that's a look at some. You can look at the entirety of our staff's picks over there at LouisianaSports.net for Masters Champions Dinner tonight. Scotty Scheffler will host that at Augusta. Let's talk a little bit of LSU football here as they wind down spring football. They will finish it up with some. With the practice inside Tiger Stadium on Saturday morning. I think it's vital that LSU restore the greatness that was DBU. Y'all are all aware, if you've watched LSU for 2 seasons, they just have not been able to cover well enough. I thought it was a massive problem 2 years ago when the defense really fell apart, but it started against Jordan Travis and Florida State. They just simply couldn't cover anybody. And I thought that continued in the game against USC in the fourth quarter last year. LSU built a lead and couldn't hold the lead because Miller Moss was making plays. Now, I want to put a caveat into that yes, USC's wide receivers made a couple of sensational plays in that game. But the LSU DBs that I'm used to seeing are going to make more plays on the ball than LSU has made on the ball the last 2 years. This is not something I can back up statistically. It's purely something I saw with my own eyes, just being inside Tiger Stadium and watching the game unfold. Ole Miss actually covered LSU. Every time it felt like Garrett Nussmeier was making a throw, Ole Miss had somebody in the vicinity to contest the throw. Now, LSU made big plays. I mean, you had Aaron Anderson over the middle, just a sensational throw on the 4th down to tie the game in overtime. Kyron Lacey makes a play on the ball in overtime. But Ole Miss had guys in position. I feel like far too often LSU just hasn't had guys in position the last 2 years. And that just comes with talent and the ability to play your technique and to stick with elite SEC wide receivers. And LSU has made a concerted effort to go into the transfer portal and overhaul the secondary. Overhaul it. Jakeem Jackson, Tamarcus Cooley, they're in here to cover some people. No doubt. And they're going to probably be out there early and often. You know the kind of talent that DJ Pickett is. Obviously. He's got star written all over him. Elite length, good speed, got to put on some weight, but great ball skills as well. At safety, like, how big a difference is it going to make that Jordan Gilbert has had this shoulder repaired? Is Deshaun Spears ready to step up and become an enforcer back there and a guy who can make some plays on the ball? Ashton Stamps returns for his 3rd year. I'm not real sure what to make of Ashton Stamps' first 2 years. I think he was probably ill-prepared to play 2 years ago as a true freshman who came in as a 3-star recruit and was thrust into playing time because there were injuries in the secondary and nobody was really producing, so you go with a young buck. There were times where he graded really high in Pro Football Focus this past year as a sophomore, but has he had an impact similar to, I mean, I'm not even talking about Patrick Peterson and Derek Stingley and Morris Claiborne and Tyrann Mathieu. I'm talking about Jalen Mills. I'm talking about Rashard Robinson. I'm talking about Ron Brooks. I'm talking about Christian Fulton. I'm talking about guys who were never really the number one corner on a team, but were just really good second or third options that ended up being NFL players. Do we feel like Ashton Stamps is ready to be that? I don't know. Here's what I know. Corey Raymond, for better than a decade, has developed 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars into pros. And this roster has 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars. And you need to convert some of these guys into pros, into second-round picks that make rosters. And you become that based on your performance on Saturdays in purple and gold. And if LSU can make more plays on the ball, get some turnovers, stop some drives, and get the ball back to this offense, they're going to win a ton of games. I don't really have many questions about the offense. I can poke holes in just about every level of the defense with question marks. Not with certainties that suggest they have no chance of making it, but with question marks. And still, corner is a question mark. You look at the ranking in high school of Jakeem Jackson and DJ Pickett, well, you've got guys with a lot of potential. You look at what you hear from practice with Ashton Stamps and PJ Woodland, you've got some guys who have made plays out on the Ponderosa. You look at the productivity in the ACC from Tamarcus Cooley, okay. Deshaun Spears, huge recruit. Jordan Gilbert, 3-year starter. It's possible that LSU can restore itself to what we've known, but it's still a question mark. The best seasons happen when these question marks get resounding answers. What's my confidence level in LSU becoming a top 5 or 6 SEC defense against the pass? It's reasonably high, 6 or 7 out of 10. That's my trust in Corey Raymond. That's my trust in his evaluation, his development to get things right. I don't think that was allowed to happen last year in his first year with what I deem to be limited talent. And I said that on the show 2 weeks into camp. I don't think LSU's good enough at corner. And it got a lot of pushback. And I didn't think they played well enough at corner the first month and a half of the season. I certainly didn't think they played well enough corner against Alabama in Tiger Stadium. Now, it didn't matter how they played at corner against Texas A&M. A&M just ran the ball. But there are going to be times where teams are trying to keep up with LSU by throwing the football. And that is when you've got to find a way to make some more plays. That's Corey Raymond's duty. And if they can get there, you're a playoff team. You just are. There's not that many questions that need to be answered to get LSU into the playoffs. But that's one of them, and you got to answer it with a resounding yes. We'll see. LSU will practice on Saturday morning to close out spring football. If you're looking for my LSU football content, you can always find it at Hunt on LSU. It's on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. Hunt on LSU, all LSU football all year round. Let's talk some Saints. Sharif Ishak, WDSU, when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
We're going to talk some Saints, Sharif Ishak here, but first we need to cover a couple things. The Grizzlies have been pretty good. They fired their coach. The Nuggets won a championship. They fired their coach. The Pelicans stink every year, and they never fire their coach. Sharif, you got an explanation for that? I'm not even suggesting that Willie Green absolutely deserves to be fired, but everybody else is firing their coach in the NBA.
Just keep doing what you're doing. But Dennis Allen said it worked out for him until it didn't.
Do you expect
honestly,
that the Pelicans are going to move on?
No, I don't think so. I have a hard time thinking that they're going to move on from him. I just think that, I think Gail Benson really likes him a lot. I really think she likes him a lot. I think that, they see what happened this year with the awful injuries. And I just think that, they're looking at it as, man, it's not fair to him. Dealt with a lot of injuries, but, the problem is every year he's dealing with injuries, and every year, they're healthy. Whenever they do get back healthy, it's still the same problems to me. So I think that, to me, it's a coin flip, but the coin tells me that he's coming back next year. It's just my opinion, but if it were up to me, I would fire Willie Green and go get Mike Malone since he was here for a year under Monty Williams as an assistant.
It's just it's a crazy dynamic in the NBA. Coaches just don't, unless you're Eric Spoelstra or Greg Popovich, nobody sticks around very long.
No. Those guys are just, they're just well respected. They're in organizations that are run really well. They're winning organizations. Players seem to grab onto them. They certainly respect them a lot in terms of like their knowledge of the game, and I think that like players just honestly love them. They learn a lot from those coaches, and I think it's hard to get rid of coaches who can continue to win. Now I know Popovich hasn't won in a long time, but still players in the ownership, they just respect him that much. I mean, he's done a lot in the past, but at some point in time he's probably going to retire. I mean, he hasn't come back.
Yeah,
I mean, he come back yet. I'd be surprised if he comes back. But Spoelstra, like every year, Spoelstra just finds a way to. This might be their worst year in a while, but it just seems like they find a way to win with what they have. They develop players to the draft. They don't really like go out there and sign like big time free agents or trade for them. I mean, Jimmy Butler in most recent years probably was the only one outside of whenever they got LeBron in. But other than that, I mean, they do a good job just like bringing players in terms of the draft and developing. So it's hard, man. NBA, I feel like the turnover is like much more drastic, especially with Mike Malone and Jenkins. Taylor Jenkins getting fired. I mean, on teams that are just set to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's weird timing to make that happen. Sharif Ishak, WDSU, is our guest. All right, let's talk some Saints. Wherever you look, whether it's betting odds, Mel Kiper mock drafts, you see the Saints hovering around quarterback selections, whether it's in the first round, second round, or somewhere a little deeper in the draft. Do you feel like it is likely that the Saints take a quarterback at this point?
Look, if Shedeur Sanders is there at number 9, it'd be foolish to pass on him. It'd be malpractice.
You think so?
I mean, yeah, it'd be foolish to pass on Shedeur Sanders because then you're set up for the future. I mean, stop talking about, like, if you keep hearing them say, like, we have a team that can win, we feel like we have a team that can win. All right, if you feel like you have a team that can win, then why aren't you drafting for the future? I mean, use one pick on the future. And it's the most important position. If Derek Carr is only playing for 1 year, and you have a dynamic player like Shedeur Sanders, you take him at number 9. You don't even have to move up to get him if he's sitting there at number 9. But knowing them, this will be the year they trade back with Shedeur Sanders sitting there at number 9 for them. But for me, he's there at 9. I'm taking him. I've done a mock draft last 3 weeks, and each one of those, actually last 2 weeks, and each time he was still sitting there at number 9. And I ran the draft simulator 10 times, and 7 out of the 10 times he was there. So it makes sense to take him at number 9.
What about Jackson Dart? I know Fletcher's been big on that. Are you in that camp as well?
Not for me. I mean, not at number 9. Maybe at 40, if the Saints decide, hey, we're not gonna do a quarterback at. Let's just say Shedeur Sanders is off the board. All right, like he's off the board at number 9, and they go whatever, Will Campbell. Let's just say for the sake of the exercise, Will Campbell's there. They take Will Campbell, and then at number 40, Jackson Dart's still there. Sure, I'm good with that at number 40. But not at number 9. I mean, that's just, I just think that's just too much for me to do at number 9. I would do it like in the back half of the first round or at number 40. But I'm good with I have no problems with Dart, just not at number 9.
What about Jalen Milroe at 40?
I don't know. I mean, he destroyed LSU. If he was playing LSU every single with the Saints quarterback, yeah, I mean, definitely. But I just need to see more from him in terms of his passing. Like, I feel like every time he had a good game, it was because he can outrun the defenses. He ain't doing that in the NFL. I mean, you have to have some kind of ability to pass the ball down the field. I keep hearing that he can throw the ball, a great deep ball, but I didn't see much of it in college. I need to see intermediate passing game, too. It's just like you can't just have a deep ball. You got to be able to throw across the middle of the field whenever you have pressure in your face or whenever their defenses are disguising and blitzing you. I just haven't seen much of that. So not at 40 for me. I would do that at 70, their next 71, their next pick. I'd do it late second round or early third round if it was Jalen Milroe.
Are you buying all this smoke with the Saints, interviewing quarterbacks, working quarterbacks out, going to visit quarterbacks? Do you feel like that's legitimate, or do you think there are some smoke screens involved?
I think it's legitimate. Honestly. I truly think it's legitimate that they're actually looking at quarterbacks.
Do you think that affects Derek Carr?
I mean, does it affect him in terms like mentally for him? Like, do you think that the team's looking at other quarterbacks?
Yeah.
No, because he's getting paid a lot of money this year. I think he just knows that it's a 1-year thing. He's going to go out and try to play his best ball and put whatever he can on tape for the next team because that's just how it is. It's a 1-year thing. So that's why I keep saying the Saints need to pick quarterback if he's there at number 9, especially if it's the guy I keep saying that they should pick. So it shouldn't affect him. Make him $40 million. I mean, go out there and show everybody that they were wrong, everything they're saying about him. But, like, history tells me that it's not going to work out for him long term, like with the Saints. I mean, they're not going to win more than 7 games. I mean, 8 games puts them right in the middle. I mean, is that what you are banking on? If you're the franchise, you're going to keep being a 7-8 win team. No, it's just not going to work out. So, to me, time to move on. I mean, you put what you can on tape, and then move on with your career. I mean, it would have been great if they traded him before they gave him the extension, but it didn't work out, or the negotiated contract just didn't work out. So, boom, it's time to move on after this year, and hopefully you get somebody good in the draft.
It's an interesting spot. Sounds like we'll get our answer here in the next 4 weeks or so. Sharif, we appreciate the time. We'll talk again next week. Thanks, man.
All right, Hunt. Glad to see the pitching coming around.
It is. They look all right. They're moving in the right direction. So we'll continue to monitor the Fighting Tiger baseball squad. He's Sharif Ishak, WDSU. Speaking of the Fighting Tiger baseball squad, I sent out a few tweets on LSU's pitching staff earlier today, and want to bring those up on the air. So we'll do that, and then we'll play some Take It or Leave It and get out of here. It is a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Congratulations to Stuart Woodman from Prairieville. Stuart is the winner of our VEX European Bracket Challenge and takes home the grand prize of $1,000. Thanks to all participated in this year's VEX European Bracket Challenge, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and LouisianaSports.net, and also 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the 2025 Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The following local businesses have also pledged to match your donations throughout the month: Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, and Action Industries, as well as Subaru of Baton Rouge, Service Chevrolet, Luba, and Duplessis Pool Builders. Visit 1045ESPN.com to help us reach our goal, and together we can make dreams come true.
So, as I mentioned there, I just wanted to toss a couple things out there that I put out on Twitter earlier today. I think right now, if I were to ask the LSU baseball fan, like, what do you think of Cade Anderson? The answer is probably, like, the dude's awesome. He's the ace. He's been great. He's been phenomenal. If I would ask you about Anthony Ianson, you'd probably say, he's been okay. I think he had one, like, good outing, struck out a bunch in one outing, but, like, he's getting hit a little bit. Like, he's okay. And I think that's probably what most people would suggest. And I don't think that's completely off base. Anderson has been better than Ianson. He's pitched deeper into games. He's gotten a lot of swing and miss. He's been really good. But Ianson's probably been a little bit better than most people think. And this is statistically what you're looking at between those two. And I realize you're not looking at this stat sheet and numbers are tough on radio, but just bear with me here for a little bit. Like, Cade Anderson has thrown 4 2/3 innings more than Anthony Ianson. So they both made 8 starts, but Anderson 4 2/3 more. So you're looking at a couple of outs more a game that he's getting. Anderson's given up 36 hits. Ianson's given up 35 hits. So those are separated by 1. Anderson's given up 15 earned runs. Ianson's given up 16. Those are separated by 1. Anderson's strikeout to walk is 75-12. Ianson's is 66-15. Those are pretty comparable. Batting average against, Cade Anderson, 211. Anthony Ianson, 219. Both very good. Like, those statistics across the board are very, very similar. If you turn it to just SEC play, like, they're, again, very, very similar. Ianson, 18 2/3. Anderson, 15 2/3. So there's a 7-inning difference there, which is a big, big gap. Way more innings than Anderson, which, look, he's been better than Ianson. But you look at their strikeout to walk, like 31-10 for Ianson, 38-6 for Anderson. You look at their earned runs, Anderson's given up 8. Anderson's given up 10. Ianson's given up 8. Like, their ERAs are pretty close. Anderson's 3.51, Ianson's 3.86. The point I'm trying to make here, I guess, is that Ianson's been pretty good to this point, and I don't know that people are embracing that. I didn't say he was dominant. Would I rather have Anderson and Ianson or Holman and Jump? I'd rather have Holman and Jump. Those guys proved it over the course of an entire SEC season. But at this point in the calendar, you didn't feel that way about those two guys. They really turned it on the last 5 weeks. There's still 6 weeks left in the regular season. So I guess the point I'm making is just give Ianson a chance here. I think he's been pretty good. Shores has got some work to do to get deeper into games, but I think LSU's 1-2 punch right now is pretty good. Wouldn't call it elite, wouldn't call it dynamic. Pretty good, I think, is fair to say right now, and it can certainly get better over the course of the next 6 weeks, and certainly you hope that's the case. We'll talk more about LSU's weekend rotation as the weekend goes on. There's one thing I'd like to address briefly before we get to the end of the show. And there's a video surfacing on the internet right now of Caitlin Clark at a practice. They're scrimmaging while she's at Iowa, the men's scrimmage team. For those that aren't aware of this, most big-time college basketball, women's college basketball programs have a group of boys from the campus who most of which played at high school basketball that scrimmaged them to give them a really good look in practices. And the video is of Caitlin Clark scoring 22 points in 2 minutes. And you can see the video. And it looks like to me, based on the pace and what Clark is doing, that they're working on late game situations coming back from a deficit. But if you watch this video, and I don't think you have to see the video to appreciate what I'm saying here, agree or disagree to understand it. Caitlin Clark is simply coming over half court in this video time and time again and shooting it from 38 to 40 feet. And she makes it every time. One, it's phenomenal shooting. She's probably the greatest female shooter I've ever seen. But what are we working on here? How is that helping the Iowa team at practice to have her dribble across midcourt, 4 Iowa players just stand still, and her launch it from 40 feet and make it? That doesn't seem to me to be a worthwhile practice philosophy. Now, I get it. No one cares. She's been gone from Iowa for a full year. She's an WNBA player right now, and it's just incredible to watch her shoot at this clip, and I get that. But at a certain point, if I was the Iowa coach, I would look at this practice session that we're having and going, nobody's really getting any better here. Caitlin's shooting 40-footers and making them unguarded, and nobody else that's on my team is getting any work at all. They're just standing there watching the ball fly in the basket. Just a weird thing to me to practice. If Caitlin wants to get some work up from 40 feet between practices, I'm all for it. I'm sure Steph Curry does that all the time. But wouldn't you want to run a play and try to work on something instead of just have her hoist it from 40? Just the curmudgeon in the room having a conversation. Beck, do you understand anything that I'm saying right now, or are you watching soccer?
No, it's halftime, so I was listening. Don't worry.
Halftime on the pitch. Great.
Yes. Yeah, that's a bit weird that they
Did you see the video?
I haven't seen the video.
So,
but
I'm describing it literally.
Yeah,
she comes across midcourt. You've seen her shoot this shot before.
Yes.
And she just, Cassie's got the video here. She just chucks it up from 40 feet every time.
Yeah.
And nobody else on the court in practice does anything. It's well, what are we working on?
Yeah, what I'm not really sure what the point is. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. It's,
look at that. She shoots it from 40 feet.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that she makes it, but no one else is getting anything done.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know, man. Look at this. Look, here she goes. Another one there, and it goes in.
She scored 22 points in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's incredible internet content.
It is.
It's pathetic practice habits.
It is, yeah. That doesn't really make sense to me as to why.
To be fair, I think a lot of what the women's team at Iowa did for 3 years under Caitlin Clark was watch her shoot it from 40 feet.
That was. So that's true.
Godspeed, Caitlin. Very good basketball player.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Yes.
Do we have any take it or leave it, or do we not?
Yeah, we got a few.
Oh, wow. Great.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, first one here. The Toronto Blue Jays and Vlad Guerrero Jr. have come to an agreement. They will have Vlad in Toronto for 14 more years to the tune of $500 million. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
I'll take it.
Not my money. He's very good. 14 years is a lot, but he's very young. So you're not talking about having a guy under contract till he's in his early 40s like the Angels did with Albert Pujols. So, yeah, I'm all for owners going for it, spending money, signing guys. And that's obviously what they've done in Toronto. It was rumored that Vlad was on the trade market because they weren't going to get an extension done, and I was hoping the Cubs would dip their toe in that water. That ship sailed, so enjoy your Canadian citizenship there, Vlad. Go get him.
All right, next one here. Tiger Woods' design firm is going to be designing a new 9-hole short course.
Yeah, I saw that.
At the former Augusta Municipal Golf Course, which is where many of the caddies who worked at the Masters learned to play golf. Additionally, the TGR Foundation is opening a learning lab in Augusta, which will provide access to STEM education and other opportunities for students in Richmond County. Tiger building a 9-hole course in Augusta. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
I'll take it.
Courses I think are awesome for young people that want to learn how to hit some shots. It doesn't require you to try to get home on a 420-yard par 4. You hit some 7-irons, hit some sand wedges, hit some chips and putts, and I think that's a great thing. So, yeah, I'm all for the municipal course. I think one of the coolest designs of a golf course in Louisiana is the Audubon course in New Orleans. Yep. They apparently haven't been able to keep it up financially, so I'm told it's not in very good shape right now. But I like a good short golf course, so I'm all in on that.
All righty.
Hustle on this one. We got 30 seconds.
Oh, that's it. We're good. We don't need to do one more. That's fine. I should have checked the clock. It's all good.
All right. That's it for Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Hope to see you tonight at Pizza by Roan's for sports trivia, 8 o'clock on Perkins Road. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand. Matt's going to drive you home on AFR. Coming up next, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is that website. How about valet maintenance? That good? 3 years of it. Sound good? It is good. 3 years, complimentary valet maintenance when you purchase a new Genesis. Nobody loves spending their whole morning on the service aisle. That's just not a great use of your time. How about you don't do it? You have Genesis of Baton Rouge come pick your car up. They leave you a loaner so you can get on about your day. They take your vehicle back to Airline and Pico, do the maintenance work, oil change, air filter, deal with the wiper fluid, wiper blades. When that's done, they bring it right back to you. It's the part of the experience of being a Genesis driver. Start your buying process today at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. You can find their entire inventory right there. Look at great pictures, see their fantastic deals, and get behind the wheel of a Genesis. Go see them Airline and Pico. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. Genesis of Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you